Well, it was one of the most iconic real estate fraud cases in the state's history. Real estate lawyer and CPA Joseph Kriz was sentenced to 30 months jail time, that's about 2.5 years, and 3 years probation after being found guilty of operating a mortgage fraud scheme in Fairfield County. Kriz's defense attorney, Jim Diamond, joins us this morning. We're going to talk a little bit more about the case and what it's like to represent some defendants, because I know you represent a lot of people who are involved in fraud and embezzling and money laundering and things of that nature. So good to talk to you, Jim. Thanks for coming on the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Recap the facts of the case just briefly, so if people are just joining us, they're not understanding what exactly is going on here.
Well, Joe is a lawyer in Fairfield County, and he gets a letter from a longtime friend of his, Bill Trudeau, who's serving prison time in a federal prison. And they want to set up a real estate development company. And it has a legal purpose in the beginning, but it explodes as they're trying to take money from one purchase and use it to make money in a second, and then the market collapses. The real problem here is that Kriz takes money, and lots of money, over $5 million, out of a bank account that's client money, client trust account.
Basically, these guys decide they want to buy up some property in Fairfield County, develop it, and they can't get the money legitimately, so they start lying on these loan applications to get the money about how much they have and various things that you have to talk to.
Exactly, Logan. The appraisals are fraudulent. The amount of income that they have is fraudulent. They're using different buyers based on income, and they're submitting these fraudulent documents to the banks, and the banks are relying on them. Now, what's really, really important in this case is that there was what's called title insurance. Every lender requires title insurance, and the title insurance companies actually backed up the loans and paid out even though there were losses. So the real victims in this case were the title insurance companies, who lost over $4 million. It's important for consumers to know that the loans are backed up by insurance. We pointed this out to the judge in sentencing as well. First American Title was the biggest loser, and they're coming after Kriz for every penny of what was lost.
So basically, this is taking place over several years, I think 3 years or so. What happens where he finally says, I need to go to authorities because this thing's gonna blow open here pretty soon?
Yeah, I mean, look, for people who are under investigation, for a fraud, deciding when to cooperate with the police and when to keep your mouth shut, is the big strategy decision here. And a lawyer needs to help you with that. So Kriz comes to me, and nobody knows about this scheme yet, and we break it wide open with the FBI and also the Bar Association and the lawyer, disciplinary board. He reveals it all to them. They keep it quiet for a period of time, but he cooperates completely with them, and he actually leads to 5 other cases being brought. And Trudeau gets almost 16 years in prison as a result.
So that was the key for your defense, is that he decided
early on,
this is not good. They're gonna catch me at this, and I better just cooperate from the get-go, and maybe I'll get a linear sentence. And I suppose he does. You were happy with the 2.5 years?
Well, it's 30 months. Yeah, no, thrilled. I mean, I think Judge Hall listened to all the facts. Listened to his cooperation, the fact that he had never been arrested before. Yeah, we were thrilled with the result. His cooperation made all the difference in the world, Logan. I mean, he turned over all the records, the bank records, the details, the applications. He opened up his files to them. Had he not, he would have been looking at a much greater sentence. You don't really know that going in, unless you're dealing with prosecutors who you can negotiate with, and that's what we did in this case.
A lot of your clients have been charged with bank fraud, money laundering, racketeering, bribery, embezzlement, forgery, illegal gambling. Just based upon your whole career defending individuals that have been charged with these kinds of crimes, what do you see as kind of the common theme? Obviously, they've all been caught, and you're defending them, and they're all presumed innocent until found guilty. But just give us your sense, being an attorney on that side, what it's like.
Well, sometimes it's just flat out greed avarice. Other times it's people who are going through some difficult period in their own lives. In Chris's case, this is really unusual. He relied on his friend Trudeau and trusted that they were going to make the money back on real estate investments. He never saw a penny. But usually it's either greed, avarice, or to get out of some difficult situation they're in themselves.
Sure. Jim Dimon, appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on the program.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And sharing that. One of the top attorneys here in the state. Appreciate that, Jim. Still ahead for you. Farmers markets are opening all across the state, and our savvy shopper, Corky Van, will tell us how to get the best selections and prices on all of your locally grown food. Also coming up for you, a former star in the movie Rocky V has fought his way into a reality show. Who the star is, you see him there, and what the reality show is. Dolph Lundgren on the program.